she's really strong and powerful and scored that goal in a really. She's one of the best strikers in the world.
Robert, commiserations. Can you start the performance and how disappointed are you tonight?
I'm quite disappointed actually, because we had a good feeling about this game to come here and have a good performance and good result. And it's really hard when you play against these kind of teams that are so good with so good players, and then you start the game in that way we did, and mentally, and to be 1-0 down after 25 seconds is really tough, and that affects the whole game plan, the self-confidence on the players, and then it takes a while before we get back into the game, and then they actually scored it the second as well before we actually get back in the game. So we give this game away. That's the honest truth. Though I think it's actually really nice to see the players coming back from the 2-0 and actually play some really good football the last 25 minutes of the first half, and we dare to play the way we want to do. We are brave on the ball. We break lines. We have runs in behind. But the end product doesn't really get there. We are close to break their lines and go for the finishing, but we don't really nail it. But that part of the game is actually quite good. Also, when you're considering that we are down 2-0. Then the second half, how much should you push to get back in the game? How much should you also defend? Because we have a history of losing big numbers here last season. Trying to find a way, trying to bring energy on the field, and then I think when they scored 3-0 and 4-0 that close directly afterwards, that kills us, and that's something we don't want to do, but it happens again. So we need to make sure we find ways to stay present in the games, because right now it's too many goals on too few chances against us, to be honest. I mean, that kind of striker can score goals in different ways and on their own. The first goal is obviously a clear mistake. We have an action we want to do in the beginning to play forward and get some duels, and we decide to go backwards and lose the ball, and then they score. So of course it's a strange way to start the game when we decided something else. But on the other hand, she's really strong and powerful and scored that goal in a really. She's one of the best strikers in the world. The second goal is the same. We know that she's strong in the box. We know that we need to make sure we win the duel or have a draw against the duel. So we need to make sure we tackle her before the ball comes. And I think in that momentum we have some bad self-confidence. We take some bad decisions, and then she do the header and do 2-0. So obviously amazing striker, but also poor defending from us, to be honest. If you're going to stop her, you need to be on her. You need to tackle her in the right moments. You need to make sure she doesn't get into her game. But she got into the game after 20 seconds and built a self-confidence, and that's not the way you're going to play against her. I mean, it's a big game coming up, and I feel like losing against Man City away, if you just look at that, that's actually normal. Many teams go ahead and lose. So if you look at that way, it's not like the end of the world. We lose against Man City away, fine. Individually and tactically, we're going to look at it. I asked the players afterwards to go individually to look at what can we do better, what can they improve, what was actually good. I'm going to look at it both in possession, out of possession, formation-wise, the press, make sure that what was good, what do we need to nail better against Arsenal. They were obviously smashing Brighton today, and we need to be really prepared for that game. On the other hand, it's phases of this game and other games that we know that we are good, but we also need to make sure we have a really good game plan to make sure that players are in the right shape for that game. So we're going to try to have 2 days where we analyze this game and have preparing for a game plan, and then we're going to have a few trainings where we're going to nail that. And Arsenal at home at our stadium is not a hard thing to motivate the players. So it's going to be a good training week, and just make sure we let this game go and keep building for the Saturday game.
Cheers. Thanks, Tom. Alex?
Yeah, I think it's obviously the numbers become really high, right? So that's a clear evidence that we need to find ways. The other thing is how we receive them. So basically, we look at how we have the balance when we have the ball, how we should defend the box, how we should do everything, and then when this stuff happens today is of course not good enough. And then it's also, of course, is it tactics? In one way, yes, of course. I need to make sure I bring the right tactics that we can handle Then it's the situation, the players we play against, the top teams basically. So the top teams is scoring a lot of goals against us. If we play a few more games after Arsenal as well, and then you tell me that we do this every game against the other teams as well, then it's like, then I'm not a really good coach, right? But right now it's a mixture of really good quality players. I think they have 7 shots on goal, and 6 of them are really good chances, and they score 4 on them. So we need to make sure that, okay, how do they get so good chances in those few chances they have at goal? So we need to make sure what's happening there. And then it's a mixture of self-confidence as well, because when you start receiving goals in games and that happen again, mentally you end up there, and mentally it's not that easy to just say that, okay, I'm switching on again. It's actually like when you have a good flow, everything goes in. When you have a bad flow, this happens as well. So it's a mixture of self-confidence, tactics, and individualism. So we need to make sure we take steps there. But obviously this is where we are, comparing to Man City. This is the truth. We cannot lie about that. They are better than us. They are more creative, they are more strong, and that's it. I think if you look at, obviously, this game is, I think they have 75% of the possession. So we knew that this game was about counterattacks and basically defend quite much. Then it's hard to create a lot of goal chances, to be honest. So I'm not worried about that in one way, but I think we have a few moments in the game where we can be better, to take the right decisions, to do the right decisions. So that's something we need to work on, how individually and basically how we have a relationship to do a 1-2 or find the right way to get better chances, because obviously we need a few more chances to actually hurt Man City. But it's also when you're 2-0 down after 50 minutes, that also affects the way you're going to take decisions when you're up there. That's how the brain works. Crystal Palace, I think we had, I'm not sure how many chances, but a lot of chances, scoring 4 goals. Liverpool, we scored 2 goals and had a few chances. We're creating chances. It's actually how much we receive right now. And that's concerning me, and how we need to fix that, because it's too easy to score goals on us. We will always play good football. We will always create chances, and then it's also like, how do we score them? So it's of course a few players that we need to work with. How do they create more chances so they score the goals? If you compare to Khadija Shaw that scores so many goals, so of course we need to get better. But it's a mix of everything.